Mr. Yee sees you're going to get me in trouble. Yep. Shabbat Shalom, Betham. Good Shabbos, dear friends. We want to welcome all of our fellow Bethomniks who are with us at home on live stream. Delighted to have your virtual presence with us at our Kabbalat Shabbat service tonight. Shabbat Shalom to each and every one of you. And so good to see some Punims that we haven't seen in quite a while. And it's good and it's comforting and reassuring to know that we remain, despite all else, a Kihila Kedosha, a holy, sacred congregation. So we're thrilled to have all of you with us this evening. We are going to begin towards the back of our Siddur, on page 344. Cantor's going to begin with Pitchu Li, an excerpt from the 118th Psalm. That's at the top of the page, Pitchu Li. And then we're going to go into Shiru Ladonai, which is in the middle of the page. So again, page 344, Pitchu Li and Shiru Ladonai.
Pitchu Li, Sharei Tzedek, please try and with me. Pitchu Li, Sharei Tzedek, Pitchu Li, Sharei Tzedek, Adonai. Shiro Adonai, kol haaretz. Shiro Adonai, shir chadash. Shiro Adonai, kol haaretz. Shiro Adonai, shir chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along, all the earth, a new song unto God. Shiro Ladonai, kol haaretz. Shiro Ladonai, shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
Please greet one another with a Shabbat Shalom, if you would. Good Shabbos once again, and to all of our friends who are at home as well on live stream. And Jenny Galansky, if you are with us in Boynton Beach, Shabbat Shalom to you. And for those that are going to be with us on Zoom at our lay-led minyan tomorrow morning there is an opportunity before Modim, before the Modim, Simcha time, is that right? Well, I've got quite a story to share with all of you. Jenny, I promise to do that. They'll hear all about you. We'll leave it till tomorrow morning. We are on page 3, Hadakat Neirot LeShabbat. It's our very great pleasure at this time to call upon our dear friend Eileen Simmons to please step forward, and if you are able to, we invite you please to rise. Hadakat Neirot, page 3.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'chadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Member of the choir. Yes, beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful, Eileen. Thank you. Good Shabbos, dear friend. We'll look forward to Kiddush and Motzi out in the main lobby after the conclusion of our Kabbalat Shabbat service. We invite you to join with Cantor and with Mark, pages 20 and 21. L'chadodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nekabla. Please be seated.
L'chadodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nekabla. L'chadodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nekabla. Shambur v'zachor b'dibur echad, yishmiranu elecha meyuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shamo tiferet v'litchila. L'chadodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nekabla. L'chadodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nekabla. Likrat Shabbat lechoven lecha, ki makorach beracha, meirosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshavat tchila. L'chadodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nekabla. L'chadodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nekabla. Hitorari, hitorari, ki varei kubi
Page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharit, Malachei Elyon, Yimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Yimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Yimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Yimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yitkadol v'yitkadash merabo.
Amen.
Yalmati v'rakiruti v'yamlich melkuti, v'chichon v'chonchid kol beit Yisrael. Ba'agalu, ba'agalu, v'zman kariv, v'yimaru. Amen.
Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach,
Le'olam olmei olmaya,
Yitbarach,
Yitbarach v'yitshabach, v'yitpar v'yitraman v'yitnasei, v'yitchatar v'yitaleh, v'yitchalal shemei dekudashu,
Brichu,
v'elo min kol birkata v'shirato,
Tushbechato, V'nelechemato, Damiran B'olamo,
v'yimru. Amen. Baruch Hu et Adonai, HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach,
Le'olam Avad. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'dvaro ma'ariv v'aravim, b'chokhma poteach sha'arim, ובתבונה משנה עיתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים, במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אהו חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים.
אהבת עולם את ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורת ומצוות חוקים פסוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו באורך ימינו ובכם נגיע יומם בלילה יומם בלילה. באהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך וברוך שמו.
אוהב עמו ישראל.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד.
ברוך השם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
כי אהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. Together, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
Selirantu viharu Adonai Meluch Leolam Vayet V'namar kipad Adonai et Yaakov U'galom yachazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo.
Kol Yisrael. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Omedeinu shomreinu lechayim Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Omedeinu shomreinu lechayim Ushmor tzidkeinu Uvaheinu L'chaim u'l'shalom Me'yataviot Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Omedeinu shomreinu lechayim Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Omedeinu shomreinu lechayim.
Together on page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
ושומרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את כל השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לגאלום, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שב אדוני נפוש, וביום השביעי שב אדוני נפוש.
For those TSGnics that I'll have the privilege of being with tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I encourage others to join with us because we're going to be looking at the Shorish, the root Bet Resh Chaf. What does it mean? What is a bracha? What is a blessing? And tomorrow morning's shiur lesson takes us in a very different and a very unexpected direction. That's all I'm going to say. So within that context, let's look at the very bottom of page 47. The Bratslava once said, if every word of one's prayer should be like a shoshana, like a rose that is picked from a bush, And then one gathers upon rows, rows upon rows, until a bouquet is formed, and then can be offered to God as a beautiful bracha, a beautiful blessing. With that thought in mind, if you're able to, we rise for the tefillah.
Adonai sefatay tiftach, u'fi yageh tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Eleb, Elohei Leah. El Gadol Hagebur Hayara, El Lekun, Gom El Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot Vayimachot, Umei Vigol Alev Devnechem, Lemon Shemo B'Chakah, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Be'esurat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayecha Kol atah, Rach Le'Mashiach. Mashiach Magid HaGashem, Bechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Bechayecha Kol Barachamim Rabim, Tzomech Nachleim Berachei Cholim, Umatir Asorim, Umekayem Emnato, Yeshaynei Afar, Bichamoch Ba'alei Giborot, Umidor Melech, Melech Menit Umechayei, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'nemon Talakakayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayech HaKol. Atah kadosh v'shemcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yechalelu chaselo. Baruch atah Adonai, Melech HaKadosh.
Balachash silently all the way through page 62, and then we'll join with Cantor and with Mark. Those who wish or need to be seated at this time, please feel free to do so.
Aleinu velkol Yisrael, velkol Yishmei Tevel Amen. O se shalom givrav, o yase shalom. Aleinu velkol Yisrael, velkol Yishmei Tevel Amen.
Birkat Refuah, prayer for healing, page 253. Misha berach avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov, v'imotenu Sarah Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, hu yivarech et hacholim hahim, hakorash baruch hu yimalei rachamim alehem, lachlimam rapotam ulahachzikam, v'yishlach lemehera refuah, refuah shlema min hashamayim, ruafat hanefesh uruafat haguf, b'toch sha'ar cholei Yisrael, hashet ba'agla, ufisman kariv venomar. Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal, as this Shabbat we call to mind Barry Abrams, Deborah Allison, Cynthia Baylor, Carol Blake, Annette Braverman, Jeff Chernow, Sandy Chernow, Stephen M. Cohen, Andy Dorfman, Marcy Fish, Evan Freebowitz and Lani Freebowitz, Bobby Glaberson, Stuart Geddes, Monica Howell, Rita Jaffe, Spencer Leibowitz, Stephen Litvak, Keith Locke, Amanda McCall, Harav Miriam Batyakova, Vagiha Partielli, Harvey Ostroff, Sherry Panicelli, Harav Rachel Bat Shmuel Ofruma, Rebitza David Rachmiel, Ben Sarah Valevi, Selma Romoff, Samuel Schloss, David Stein, Beverly Tisdale, Cass Walsh, and Judy Weiss. If there are any other names that you'd like to publicly mention at this point, please feel free to do so if you would. Linda? Thank you. Jay? Thank you. Bev? Thank you. Steve? Thank you very much. Please, Barbara. Thank you. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and for their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send each a refuah shlema, a complete renewal of guf of body and of neshama of soul. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen.
May the source of strength, who bless
Shabbat Shalom, Betham. Good Shabbos to you. Now, here's an interesting fact that you might not be aware of, that of the 929 chapters in Tanakh, not Torah, in Tanakh, in the Hebrew Bible. Tanakh, as you know, is an acronym, right, for the three constituent parts of the Hebrew Bible: the Torah, the prophets, and then the writings. And in the entire Jewish canon, otherwise known, of course, as the Tanakh, there are no less than, evidently, 929 chapters. Only the first 11, just the first 11, in other words, the first 11 chapters of the first book, Bereshit, Genesis, deal with a world that is created, corrupted, and condemned. And you recall that we've already been introduced to Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel, and then last Shabbat to Noah and to his family. But beginning this Shabbat, certainly tomorrow morning, with Genesis chapter 12, the paradigm shifts dramatically and completely. So this Shabbat's famous and monumental Torah portion, known as Parashat Lech Lecha, is ultimately, of course, the story of Abram, later known, of course, as Abraham, the first religious seeker, the first Jew, if you will, the first monotheist, the first global caretaker. But prior to Abram's call from God, our future first patriarch was an enigma. I mean, unlike Moshe Rabbeinu, unlike Moses, we know little, if anything, about Abraham, about Abram's personal upbringing. And so the Talmudic sages were left with no other alternative but to embellish Abram's younger days, his early life, with fascinating fables and stories of one kind or another. So here's one that you might or might not be aware of. So at the very beginning of this Shabbat Sedra, it's probably one of the most well-known verses in all of Torah, from Genesis chapter 12, verse 1. You've heard it before, countless times. Vayomer Elohim el Avram, and the Lord said to Abraham, Lech lecha me'artzecha u'mimoladetcha u'mebeit avicha. Go forth from your native land, from your birthplace, from your father's house, to the land that I will show you. And so based on this, a very well-known midrash states the following. This transformational journey of Abram's may be compared to a man who was traveling from makom to makom, from one place to another, when all of a sudden, unexpectedly, he saw and try to remember this Hebraic phrase if you would, he came across a bira doleket. I'm not sure if you've come across that phrase before. Bira doleket. He came across a palace that was all on fire. Is it possible that this palace lacks a caretaker? The man wondered. And the owner of the palace looked out and said, I'm the owner. And similarly, because our ancestor Abram asked, is it possible that the world lacks a caretaker? The Kutchabrichu, the Blessed Holy One, looked out and said to him, I am the sovereign of the universe. So what exactly then is a bira doleket? So in his masterpiece, God in Search of Man, Abraham Joshua Heschel points out that bira doleket can be translated either as a palace lit up by a bright, magnificent light, or alternatively, it can mean a palace that's gone up in flames. Abram looked around him, and he saw a world engulfed in a furnace of chaos and evil. Abram saw a world on fire. And that was the inspiration that he needed to try and extinguish the flames. And so the question for us this Shabbat is one and the same. How do we see this world of ours, this Bira Doleket, this amazingly interconnected planet of ours? Do we only see it aflame without any possibility of improvement or reconstruction? Or do we see it illuminated with endless possibilities for renewal and restoration? Or perhaps, come to think of it, it might well be a combination of both. And there's every good reason for us to believe that our world is on fire. Man-made global warming that continues unabated to pollute the upper atmosphere. We're witnessing stronger hurricanes, more destructive fires, longer droughts than ever before, notwithstanding fires of another kind, a global pandemic, racial injustice and brutality, rampant homelessness, and abject hunger. But this Bira Doleket can also symbolize a palace, a planet illuminated. In other words, something that is still incredibly beautiful, inspiring awe and astonishment. And there are wonderful things to be optimistic about. You well know, sources of renewable energy, hybrid and electric cars, solar panels, the development of wind and solar power, recycling programs, waste reduction, desalinating plants, rescuing the oceans from mountains of plastic and of toxic waste. These are surely all positive steps in the right direction. A deep, profound social and spiritual environmental ethic lies at the very heart of Judaism. So what exactly qualified Abraham, to be the original Jew, you might ask? He was the very first to sense God's presence, to hear God's call in both the beauty and the wonder of a glowing palace and in the flames and the destruction of a world on fire. Abram heard and heeded the command, Lech Lecha, a combination of wonder and of discontent, of gratitude and of outrage, of radical amazement, and, mind you, of radical responsibility. And you know what? Captain Kirk finally had a chance to heed his own command. Wednesday morning, as you well know, actor William Shatner became the oldest man to travel into space. 90 years young, best known, you know better than I do, right, for playing Captain Kirk, of course, on Star Trek. His 10 minutes and 17 seconds aboard the Blue Origin suborbital spacecraft was the most profound experience he'd ever imagined. To see, and I quote, to see the blue color whoop by you, and now you're staring into darkness, and that's the thing, he told Blue Origin founder Jeff Bezos. You look down, and there's the blue down there, and the black up here. There is Mother Earth and comfort, and there is death. Is that the way death is? It was so moving, this experience. It was something unbelievable. I'm so filled with emotion, Shatner exclaimed. It's extraordinary. It has to do with the enormity and the quickness and the suddenness of life and death. And so from 62, that's right, approximately from 62 miles above Earth, William Shatner saw a Bira Doleket, and it had the most profound effect on him. The world is on fire. The world is aglow. Our planet is the only home that we have. There might be a so-called Plan B, but there's no other habitable Planet B that I'm aware of, unless you tell me otherwise. We have no other alternative, friends, but to play our part in helping to protect our world. God is counting on us. Mother Earth is counting on us. What Lech Lecha steps will we take to make this a better and brighter world for us all? Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos to you. Aleinu, page 282. To open the Ark at this time, we're delighted to call upon our good friends Barbara and Bernie Hoffman and Andy and Jay Polikoff. Can we call upon you as well to please step forward? Second Hebrew paragraph, page 282. Yeah, yeah.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא עשנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא עשה חלקנו ככם, וגורלנו ככל כמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שכונות השמיים ויוסת הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגופי מרום. ימחו אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכינו וזולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, בדעת החיים בחשיבותו אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר בחיי אדוני למלך לכל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Page 290. The words of the late Rabbi Chaim Stern. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love and hope and dream, to be and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing to love, what death has touched. page 295. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at the season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Frank Burstein, Robert Bob Crum, Rosalind Ros Marion, Bernard Wyman, who passed away during Shloshim this past month. This evening we call to mind Shirley Anmuth, Morris Auerbach, Sarah Belaski, Herbert M. Besser, Bess Braverman, Gladys Braverman, Anna Berg, Doris Cades, Esther Kaplan, Ryan Jake Dorfman, Albert Ehrlich, Fern Fine, Ruth Arnepold Ford, Lillian Friedman, Claire G. Friedman, Shari Davida Gelb, Nathan Goodman, Frank Gordon, Andrea Feldman-Gorski, Maurice A. Greenberg, Louis Gross, Ari L. Kaufman, Ethel Kelman, Wynette Levitsky, Molly Lipkin, Solomon Litt, Belle Leferno, Alan Martin, Irene R. Miller, Sarah Pollock, Henya Sanders, Liddy D. Schwarzschild, Eileen Seaver, Samuel Seufer, Debbie Cantor Thornburg, Eileen Waldman, and Ruth Wolf, whose Yortzeiten occurred during the past week, and all those other dear ones whom we now remember with tender affection, together as always with the 6 million of our martyred brethren who perished in the Shoah, and all those who gave their lives and who continue to give their lives in defense of Midnat Yisrael, the state of Israel, and of these United States. Zichrnam livracha, may all of their memories be for a blessing. Yit gadal v'yit kadash mei rabba, amen. Bioma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'fisman kariv v'yimru, amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach leolam u'lalmei u'lamaya, hit barach v'yishtabach, v'yit po'ar, v'yit romam, v'yit naseh, v'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit alal, shemei d'kudashah b'richu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran b'olma v'yimru, amen. Yehei shlam rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. Amen. May there be abundant peace from heaven and life for us and all Israel, to which we say, amen. And may the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, and let us say, amen. Amen. Please be seated. It's our pleasure to call upon President Josh Posnan for greetings and this evening's announcements. Thank you, Josh.
Good evening. Mark, feel free to play me off if I'm on too long this week. But I'll boldly go into my announcements now. Tomorrow morning, Torah study at 9 a.m., followed immediately by the peer-led service. At 10, both will be on Zoom. No peer carve-out class this Sunday. It will resume on October 31st. This Sunday morning, Beth Am's adult co-ed softball will be at 9:30 at the McKinley Field at Ethel Jordan Park in Elkins Park. Feel free to drop off your kids at Mensch Lab, grab your glove, and come play each week through the fall. Sunday, October 24th at 11:30 a.m., we're hosting a musical artist, Noah Aronson, as part of the Harry and Evelyn Silver Scholar in Residence program. The program is free in conjunction with Mensch Lab. They'll be putting on a concert with the kids. It does require advanced registration, and it will be live streamed. Links will be sent out next week in emails on Tuesday and Friday. Looks like the candidate wants to add
11:15.
11:15.
Yes, the concert begins at 11.
Also, make sure to join us for our first event in our 75th anniversary celebration on Sunday, November 14th. Here we go. As part of the Harry Neville Silver Scholar in Residence program, the event is titled Squirrel Hill, The Tree of Life Synagogue Shooting and the Soul of a Neighborhood, a book by Mark Oppenheimer. The event also is free, but we are requiring advance registrations through the Officer Show Cloud. There'll be breakfast served at 9, continental breakfast, and then program at 9:30 to 10:30. This year, Brotherhood is again running their annual Thanksgiving food drive to help those who are less fortunate. A donation of $20 or more will feed a family of 4. Please join us on Saturday, November 20th at 7:30 p.m. for a night of magic with magician Chad Joros. That will be on Zoom, a Ways and Means event. Social Action is collecting pet supplies for the Mitzvah Pet Supply Drive, benefiting Tiny Paws Rescue. Unopened dog and cat food, litter, bags, bowls, cat carriers, scratching posts. There's a bin at the back door. Flyers for all these events are available in the parking lot, not in the parking lot, in the lobby of the parking lot. And finally, you can still make your High Holiday pledge via check, Venmo, or on the Show Cloud platform. I hope you all have a wonderful and safe weekend, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Better?
Oh, good.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you very much. Now, if this Shabbat Sedra is Parashat Lech Lecha, well, what are we going to conclude with? Lechilach? It could only be Lechilach, page 341. 341.
Lechilach, to a land that I will show you. Lech Lecha, to a place you do not know. Lechilach, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechilach, Lechilach, and I shall make your name great. Lech Lecha, and all shall praise your name. Lechilach, to the place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, Lechilach. And you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechilach. Baby Friedman's most beautiful tune.
Sweet.
Yeah,
So beautiful. Thank you, Kanta. Thank you, Mark. So sweet. V'hiyeh bracha, be thou a blessing, which you are, and for that we are enormously grateful. God bless you. Shabbat Shalom
Shabbat
to all of
Shalom.
our fellow Bethomnics on live stream as well. Shabbat Shalom to you
Shabbat
too.
Shalom.
Everyone. Good Shabbos to all of you. Thank you, Barry, for coordinating the camera this evening. And if you have time, Kiddush and Motzi out in the main
Shall we
lobby.
take it up?
Good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom.